Over $2 billion in crypto has been stolen this year alone, the highest amount ever recorded. And experts say it's only going to get worse. But what if I told you the real danger isn't the hackers, it's you? Most people think they're protecting their assets with self-custody wallets, but according to Tangem CEO Andrey Kurennykh, the way we store crypto today is fundamentally broken.
Majority of crypto users start with centralized exchanges, then they try to experiment with self-custody in mobile wallets or hot wallets, and only then they feel confident enough to progress to cold storage.
He says seed phrases, screens, and even hardware buttons are outdated, and they're actually putting your funds at risk.
If we get back to Bybit, hacked in February, for example, it didn't help. There was a hardware wallet with a screen. It was multi-sig, but the complexity of transaction was so advanced that the screen didn't help.
In this interview, Andrey reveals why the future of self-custody doesn't involve seed phrases at all. How Tangem's seedless, screen-free technology protects users from billion-dollar exploits.
Number one protection is our seedless approach, because those 80% of users, they are actually protected from themselves. They won't be able to share the seed phrase. So no matter what kind of phishing attack, they just don't know their secret.
And why your next wallet might look more like a DeFi bank than a cold storage device. If you care about security, privacy, and true crypto ownership, this conversation will change how you think about protecting your assets.
That's dope.
Andrey, it's great to see you again. Obviously, we did an amazing interview for The Street, and I wanted to have you back onto my channels for a YouTube interview to talk more about Tangem. Obviously, I think self-custody is still one of the most important topics that there is in the crypto space, and I don't think many people take it as seriously as they should. Maybe we should just start from the beginning. Give us the quick TLDR on Tangem, what your mission is.
Thank you very much for hosting me. Glad to join you again. So I think that our mission is protection of self-custody of this concept, because it was like a core idea behind everything behind crypto 15 years ago, and it's still a fundamental right of all the crypto users. So we want to protect this right by giving best possible instrument for that.
That makes perfect sense. And so I guess why generally should we choose self-custody over storing crypto on exchanges and hot wallets? It can be specific to Tangem. I know hot wallets tend to be classified as self-custody, but really in cold storage here.
We just consider this as a part of evolution and user journey, because we understand that nowadays, majority of crypto users start with centralized exchanges, then they try to experiment with self-custody in mobile wallets or hot wallets, and only then they feel confident enough to progress to cold storage. So we think that this is quite a natural journey, and it will be more or less the same in the future. Our role here is to make users more confident here and help them with this transition. Otherwise, we are we understand our role. So we understand that we are kind of endpoint of this journey, and we don't really want to push absolutely newcomers, new to crypto users to start immediately with cold storage.
But your goal is obviously to bring this to the masses, right? You want to be the most successful product ever. You want everybody who's in crypto eventually to be using your wallet. So what would you say are still the biggest barriers to mainstream adoption, to getting everybody comfortable with self-custody? And how do you specifically address those?
I think the issue number one is complexity, because it always undermines confidence. So it affects majority of users, and we think that if we somehow find a way to avoid these complexities, that will help a lot of users to switch to self-custody. Because again, as I said, maybe only 10% of current users ever played with cold storage. So, and that happens because all of them actually understand what are the risks and liabilities comes with self-custody. So, and if we don't help users to feel comfortable with those risks and liabilities, nothing will happen. Of course, they will prefer to stay with centralized exchanges and shift this responsibility, liabilities to someone else.
So obviously there's a lot of hardware wallet options for people. So what differentiates you from your competitors at Tangem?
Yeah, I think getting back to the previous question, I think the number one complexity is the seed phrase. Number two is difficult UX. So the seed phrase was like very first problem of all the wallets because that was a very like understandable concept and idea of wallet providers to push back responsibility to the user. So yeah, you can use our software, but you have a piece of paper with written words. If something happens, you are liable always.
Yeah.
So, and of course, yeah, and all the users, they understand it. So, and that we think is still the number one barrier. And even though we, 2 years ago, we let our users to have a seed phrase if they want to. We still have 80% of our users working without seed phrase. So they understand why it's preferable because it's I think we can discuss it later, like when we touch the security point, but seed phrase is definitely problem number one. And all the user experience related to wallet setup, to seed phrase, to recovery, transaction signing, it's a barrier number two. So we did our best to improve this and to fix those problems, and I think we are quite successful.
So you're really looking to abstract away all of the complexities, right? You just want to make it as simple and familiar for people as possible. And I can tell with your form factors, because I use the wallets, you have the ring, of course, and also the card, that you want it to be something that's very comfortable in people's hands, something that they're familiar with, and something that's really, really easy to use, right? I just think that you've clearly done that to make it more accessible for people. Because you know what it's like to use a credit card, right? Everybody carries a card.
Yeah, it's like a bit discreet and relatable, and that was the idea behind this. But that's what actually was not reason number one. So the main reason behind these form factors was reliability, and that's a very important point because at the moment we take this risk of storing user keys, instead of making them write down seed phrase, means that we need to have very, very reliable device with huge lifespan. And that's what we did. So that's very simple device. Only one secure microcontroller inside this, with very special memory that can store your keys for decades or even longer. And you have a backup. So you have 2 or 3 wallets with replicated private keys. And that's an absolutely different concept. We were the first who not asked our users to write down the seed phrase and push back all the liability to them. So so I think that's our main difference, and we pioneered in the seedless approach, and I think we are number one seedless wallet on the market as of now.
So at least when I got into crypto, I always viewed cold storage, and I think a lot of people do, as a really long-term solution, like your bank. I'm going to put it in a safety deposit box, and then I'm going to go throw my wallet in a safe,
Yeah.
and this is the crypto that I'm never going to touch. But you're really trying to transition the mindset of people that cold storage can still be used really every day, right? So how are you, I guess, working to change that perception and get people to understand that they can use a hardware wallet just like they use any other wallet for everyday things?
Yeah. You're right. Actually, I think it's quite common evolution that we have right now on the wallet market because the people just started with self custody, understanding the concept that they can store funds on their own, but then they started to expect more and more services to be provided by the wallet. And as of now, I think we have very high user engagement comparing to other wallets on the market. So we have a huge share of users who open the application daily. And that's because we added a lot of integration and with DeFi services and trading platforms, and we have a very sophisticated tool for traders. We basically have a real-time information about market. We help to track portfolios and make trades with very transparent trades and very clear process, because that was another problem of this swap providers and on-ramp off-ramp providers, that you basically don't understand what's going on. You just can stay there for hours waiting for your funds coming back, and that was extremely stressful, and that's what we basically fixed in our application. And that's why I think we have so engaged users at the moment.
You may have already answered this question, but there may be additional ones. I mean, what services and features do you think that modern crypto users want from their wallet beyond just being their bank account or their their cold storage?
I think that's a very important question actually, because as I said, we see that wallets are evolving to something different, and basically like good UX and secure storage is absolutely not enough anymore. So from like market research that we see that more and more people expect have more ways to on-ramp and off-ramp, maybe more connections with stable coins, virtual IBANs, virtual accounts, so more instruments for connection to fiat wallet. That's number one request as we see it right now. So then the second thing is fiat payments. So there are like more projects coming up now with connection of payment cards to DeFi accounts, and that is growing demand as we see this. So basically, users would want to have some payment instrument connected to their wallet, and that is obviously like Visa, MasterCard, I think virtual.
Tap your card and pay for something in a stable coin with your
wallet. That's correct. That's correct. It's actually it's tricky. So it's a question about the balance between privacy and the KYC environment. It's really like something unsolved as of now. Maybe we will be the first who can provide something new here. But that is very natural demand from users. So they want the wallet become their daily instrument, comparable to a mobile bank in the end. That's how I see this. That's why other priorities are more clear, more clear functionality of peer-to-peer payments. So not just pure crypto experience where you have to copy paste your blockchain address and So the users expect something more friendly, obviously. And then things related to DeFi. So more and more people that just want to have some kind of investment portfolio, staking instruments, and like the best possible coverage of smart contracts and swap providers out there.
Yeah. So I actually have a couple of your wallets here, a bunch of them. I use them all the time. I was looking on my desk as you were talking. I literally have them here. So here's a card and here's a ring, right? So this is two of them. It doesn't take a genius to look at this and say there's no buttons, there's no screens. It's extremely minimalist. Of course, you have different designs. This one is literally all black. Like this could look like a key card to swipe to get into a building. It could look like a credit card, right? So how does having no screens, no buttons, something so minimalist, how does this basically help people improve the experience? I think it's obvious how it improves security, right? Because nobody thinks that this is
exactly. Yeah, we are asked this question a lot. So because it doesn't look that reliable, maybe comparing to other hardware wallets. But the security architecture behind our solution is different. So first of all, we only work with mobile platforms, with mobile phones, and meaning no desktops, no browsers, extensions, USB ports, nothing that would really require like more sophisticated security features like screens and buttons. So in case of mobile application, it's basically different. So with mobile apps, especially well protected mobile apps that we have, because we use a very like state of the art framework for building an application, have a lot of like code and assets protected in our apps. It becomes much less relevant to have any kind of additional features in the wallet, because the channel between the application and the wallet can be well protected, and you don't really need to double check what happens in the wallet. So this like secure signing concept is really important if we're speaking about like desktops and less protected environments. But in our case, we rely much more on the application, on the mobile application, and somehow on external services as well. So we use services like Blockade for additional transaction validation, like simulation of transactions, and it's becoming an important part of the signing process. And getting back to screen and buttons, it's actually not guaranteed protection as well, because it's very cumbersome. It requires a lot of efforts to support all these kind of transactions that you sign with using the separate screen. So if we get back to Bybit hacked in February, for example,
I was going to ask you about this.
Yeah,
I was literally going to ask you about this. Yeah.
It didn't help. So there was there was a hardware wallet with a screen.
Yeah, they had multi-sig, right? And that's what they were literally using a multi-sig.
But the complexity of transaction was so like advanced that the screen didn't help. So basically, you must support all the possible formats, all smart contracts, all the ways you can send the funds, like all scenarios, in a very small device, and it's very challenging task. So it's impossible to cover like 100% of these things, especially if there's a sophisticated attacks, and that's why we are not going to do something like that. So there will be no screens, no buttons. We don't see any need in that, especially because of seed phrase. So
Yeah, I mean, that was my next question was about the hacks, because in 2024, I think there was $1.4 billion worth of
yeah,
hacks in crypto or
yeah,
something. And then as you were talking, I was looking up the Bybit hack, and then you brought it up because that was earlier this year, and that was 1.5 billion in one hack, right? So
yeah,
that
yeah.
surpassed
That's true.
basically
Yeah.
2024 in one single hack. But the real question there is, and you touched on it though, but there's all these different vulnerabilities, phishing and the hardware vulnerabilities themselves. Like, how do you protect against those specifically? I know not having buttons and screens is part of that, but I'm assuming there's more.
Yeah, again, so number one protection is like seedless, our seedless approach, because those 80% of users, they are actually protected from themselves. So they won't be able to share the seed phrase. So no matter what kind of like phishing attack there will be, they just don't know their secret.
You can't do it. Yeah, you can't do it. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, it's crazy.
And if we're speaking about attacks on individual holders, individual users, it's actually like 99% of those cases, because all the rest is either more sophisticated phishing attacks, like on maybe impersonating a support service of a vendor
The
or something
exchange or
like that.
vendor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So but attacks on individual hardware devices are like are senseless. So it's very difficult. It's very expensive. No matter what device we're talking about. So they are all require very special skills, equipment, time, and it's just a single device. So there's no way you can hack them in mass. So you will always be hacking like just one device, and that makes this vector kind of like irrelevant in our understanding.
That's really interesting. You take away the power of the individual to be phished because they don't have the information that the phishing
Yeah,
attack would
yeah,
be looking for.
exactly.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. And you're also ensuring security while offering, I think, 16,000 cryptocurrencies right now. Is that accurate? So, most of the, at least in the early days, the hardware wallets were like Bitcoin only or ERC20 only or something like that. How can you possibly have security for this many cryptocurrencies across this many standards and chains?
Yeah. I already touched that. It's impossible to do this in house. So
Yeah.
it's so complicated now. The whole landscape is so huge that you cannot do this in house. So we are cooperating with like services like Blockade for that, and we will be more and more like relying on these kind of services. So that's a very special skill. It requires special knowledge, infrastructure, and we think it will be like a separate role on the market in the future. So there will be someone who authorized transaction and proves it to user or wallet provider that everything goes well. So technically speaking, we're even considering have this like additional validation made directly by the service to the hardware wallet. So it will make the signing process even more secure, comparing to properly designed screen and button wallet, because there will be direct validation of transaction made by like separate infrastructure. And it's much safer scenario, because there will be many teams and many services involved in the signing process. So that's how we see the approach for this like constantly growing landscape. But so far, yeah, we are covering almost everything, even like more sophisticated wallet connect scenarios. So we understand that our users will need more and more support and insurance with along with the smart contracts and DeFi instruments getting more sophisticated.
Yeah. I can't imagine how hard it is to keep up with all the constant threats as they evolve. But
Yeah,
it
yeah, we
sounds
have a
like you
special
have a,
service for that. That's true.
yeah, exactly. So listen, I guess looking towards the future, you always have to be a few steps ahead, just as we said, sort of with security, because you know that there's always issues. But I'm imagining you also have a grander vision than what you've built today, ideas for new products or the trajectory or what wallets will be able to do that they can't now. So perhaps share a bit about the future vision for Tangem.
Yeah, so actually, as I said, we see that the incoming users will be asking for more and more features, and eventually we will end up with something similar to a bank. But in this case, that will be decentralized bank or DeFi bank. So, and people will expect some kind of the same set of services and feature, but in the wallet application. And here, as I already mentioned, the biggest challenge for us is to separate this private part, anonymous part, when you have your vault and you have your crypto, and KYC part, because we expect there will be more and more regulation in different jurisdictions, meaning that those services we are connecting to our wallet, we'll have to ask for personal information and KYC data from users, and our goal is to separate these two parts and make users understand that they are fully private on the private side and they are fully compliant on KYC side. So we see this like as a future architecture of wallets for maybe next like 2-3 years. And again, it will also involve services that are like under-regulated right now. So if we like speak about swap providers, for example, they will be regulated. At least we expect that in maybe 2 or 3 years, meaning that it will be much more challenging to do any swaps without passing KYC. So we are preparing for that, like for this reality. But we still understand that the self-custody will remain the fundamental right. It will never be like prohibited, and that will be our role in the future. So the core function will remain the same. We just want to make it very comfortable and very clear that we like separate this self-custody from any kind of additional services we will provide.
So just as we wrap up, is there anything else I might have missed? Any challenges that the industry faces that we haven't covered today?
No, I don't think so. So I mentioned about this future regulation. I think that's a bigger challenge, at least for us. And sooner or later, they will come for self-custody as well. But I think that will be mostly about security compliance. There will be more framework. There will be requirements here in Europe in 4 years, I think. And that will be relevant for hardware wallets. I think it's good for the industry. I think, of course, that's overheads for us, but that will help people to like to be more confident, because regulators will help with with this confidence.
Yeah, incredible. I really love what you're building. Like I said, I use it. I've got a whole stack of them actually on my desk.
Cool.
too many, because I wanted to check out everything that you had, and it really is an incredible product. Yeah, it's an incredible product, and I love the vision for the future. Andrey, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me and to really break this down in a way everybody could understand.
Thank you very much. Good. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.